Ida Day Holzapfel was a legendary librarian at Hutchinson Public Library. She started many of the library services we still use today and was instrumental in moving the library to its current location. When Ida Day resigned in 1953 to take a job in California, she said that she planned to eventually return to Hutchinson. She died in a car crash days later. Then, strange things started happening at the library. Here's Kate Lewis with the story of Ida Day, library legend, library ghost.
Ooh, I'm glad I did not knock the microphone down. Ready. Welcome to Hutchinson Public Library. I work here at the library, and my coworkers and I want to thank you all for coming tonight and your continued support of the library. This story tonight is about a legendary librarian who loved Hutchinson and was a revolutionary woman in her time, and started many of the services we still use today. Ida Miranda Day was born on April 20th, 1888 in Colony, Kansas. She was a teacher at Colony and Iola schools, and she organized and cataloged a number of libraries all over the state. Ida graduated from State Normal at Emporia and also worked at the library there. Ida was first hired on January 16, 1916 at Hutchinson Library, a Carnegie library. She was 28 years old. Her salary was $75 per month and 2 weeks paid vacation. It didn't take long for Miss Day to make quite an impact. This is what the Carnegie looked like soon after she started. Remodeling began in 1917 to double the size of the space. During the time the library was closed for remodeling, Miss Day and her assistants fully cataloged and classified every book, began reference services, mounted and classified 3,000 pictures, and started the first card index system. In 1918, Ida helped collect and send books to World War I soldiers and coordinated magazine deliveries to shut-ins. Ida resigned in 1926 to attend the University of Kansas. Rock, talk, Jayhawk. She was 38 years old. On June 20th, 1940, 52-year-old Ida Day married John Holzapfel. In 1946, the Carnegie was again too small for the library's growing collection. Discussion and plans for a new building began, and Ida returned to Hutchinson to help the library through this process. Again, Ida made significant advancements in the library in a very short time. She started a library apprentice class for high school and college students. She implemented a pay shelf for new and popular books, and because patrons were asking for them, she opened the library for Sunday hours. Ida also started a great books discussion group to discuss writings like the Odyssey, the Bible, and the Constitution. She coordinated bookshelves at the hospital and also started the bookmobile. Sadly, her husband never saw her greatest accomplishment completed. He died in November of 1948. Ida wrote this of the new library. Plans have been made to lure the public into the library with an attractive, friendly, informal building, and there, through all kinds of professional wiles, beguile them into wisdom from other races and to more mature ways of thinking and living. It is said that Ida Day Holzapfel was considered a proper woman, totally dedicated to her job, who had tea with her employees promptly at 3 p.m. every day. Her dedication frequently made her difficult to work with, especially if fellow employees did not demonstrate the same dedication to the library as she did. On February 1st, 1954, Ida resigned from our library to become a catalog librarian in California. A news article stated she plans to retain ownership of her home and will eventually return to Hutchinson. Ida Day Holzapfel died on the first day of her new job, March 2nd, 1954, from a car crash. To better understand what happens next, I'd like to share the progression of the library's building additions. On the other side of the wall to my left was Ida's office and the original library built in 1951. The area most of you are sitting in was built in 1967, and then the Main Street entrance and north section were built in 1985. On Halloween 1975, the Hutchinson News wrote an article about two library employees, Angeline Welsh and Rose Hale, working in the basement. Rose heard Angeline talking to someone. Angeline denied she said a word, but Rose heard footsteps leaving. Ponder that. The next day, Rose saw a lady standing below the stairs. Rose did not know the woman's name, but later, when she described the woman to another employee, Rose was told she had just described Ida Day. Thus, the feeling began that Ida had returned to watch over the library and sometimes rebelled when she thought things weren't being run correctly. Since that time, other employees have experienced a range of inexplicable phenomenon. The ice room, where staff can get ice for drinks, constantly has an eerie, oppressive feeling. One staff member reported hearing a music box playing in our archive room. The Friends volunteer searched for her lost ring and the next day found it mysteriously placed on the same desk where she lost it. Tina Stropes, the library business manager, told of something weird in 2003. 2 months in a row, her calculator spontaneously printed several zeros when she was doing payroll. She spoke up, "Ida, you don't work any hours and you're not getting paid." The calculator stopped. As Annette Smith gave me a tour on my second day at work, she stopped and said, "This room is supposedly where Ida Day is." When the lights turned on, I felt the hair on my head stand up. A couple weeks later, I fell down these marble steps to my right. The wonderful staff here refused to believe that I was klutzy and suggested Ida had something to do with it. Ida loves to knock books off shelves and make sure we pick them up. I received an email from the Friend Shop bookstore right next to those nefarious marble steps. Quote, "We are in the bookstore. We heard something hit the floor. This book and only this book had fallen off the shelf. Is it the work of Ida?" Paranormal specialists have found evidence of other ghosts in the library. Right under all of you is the part of the basement where a male presence is detected. This very spot used to be a doctor's house, and when it was torn down in 1967, old medical equipment was found in the basement. I've often wondered why Ida's spirit chose to come back to this library instead of her home, or where she was married, or where she died. Maybe she's lonely and prefers to be where she knows there are people, connections to her community, and where the very air is alive with learning, endless possibilities, and bright hopes for a future.